But come on, let's concentrate on Jeff.
The world's richest couple's divorce is one step closer to being done.
Sure him. They snapped the picture
Wasn't
of
trying
him.
very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she knew Lauren, I think she knew exactly what she was doing. First of all, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez got married, and I was like, what? Two rich people got married? I bet those were some beautiful protests, and they were. I'm sorry, but can you imagine people disliking you so much they protest your wedding? People protested your wedding and you're not even gay. That's how you know you're bad.
And this is just a long-winded way of saying, I think something's happened to her. Like she just kept wanting to trade up when it came to money and power and fame, and not coincidentally kept trading up, obviously, on the plastic surgery. Only by up, I mean poorly.
Picture this: Venice, Italy, glittering under the summer sun. Jeff Bezos, the world's second richest man, and Lauren Sanchez, the glamorous media star, tie the knot in a $50 million wedding that shuts down an entire island. A-listers, private jets, a $500 million yacht. It's the fairy tale everyone's talking about. But then the unthinkable happens.
So I think they're both now their doll fantasies of themselves. It was like watching them. Yeah, it was like watching the marriage of two Mattel products. Man and boob woman. And will they be able to reproduce? Will they want to? That's the question. Because if they do, they'll give birth to a child who looks like a human being and will gaze up from his crib at these, rather bizarre creatures that raised him.
Just days later, Lauren vanishes. Her Instagram wiped clean. Her brand erased. And Jeff, he's suing her for $5 billion in a brutal public takedown that's left the world stunned. Was this a love story gone wrong, or a calculated move by a billionaire who never plays to lose?
And ghoulish. I mean, you look like a Mr. Potato Head. You no longer look human. So she spent too much time with these people, and she's morphed. I think chasing these false gods has gotten her to look like a morphed, just unrelatable plastic version of the beautiful woman who used to be there striving in earnest to make it on her own, but instead kind of sold out. That's how I see her. Anyway, you take it from here.
She looks like a sex doll that you pump up with a foot pump.
Stick around, because we're about to unravel a scandal that'll make you question everything you thought you knew. If you love diving into the dark side of the elite, hit that Super Thanks button to keep this channel exposing the truth. Let's get into it.
But it was a brand awareness wedding. People brought their brands. The only disappointment for me in the wedding was that when they stepped gingerly down into those gondolas that were floating in the canals, nobody wiped out. I thought there were going to be way more sort of high-heel disasters, people going into the drink. But there wasn't enough Schadenfreude. I mean, there's plenty of Schadenfreude in the sense that we hope all of them, have boating accidents on the way home, or their helicopters have to land in hostile countries. But I don't think anything's bad is going to happen.
And this is just a long-winded way of saying, I think something's happened to her. Like she just kept wanting to trade up when it came to money and power and fame, and not coincidentally kept trading up, obviously, on the plastic surgery. Only by up, I mean poorly.
The Venice wedding spectacle. June 2025, Venice is transformed into a billionaire's playground. San Giorgio Maggiore, a historic island with a 16th century church, is locked down for Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's $50 million wedding. 30 water taxis glide through the canals, ferrying A-listers like Leonardo DiCaprio, Oprah Winfrey, Tom Brady, and the Kardashians.
Sure him. They snapped the picture
Wasn't
of
trying
him.
very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she knew Lauren, I think she knew exactly what she was doing.
I didn't even think about this with the whole prenup agreement with Jeff Bezos and his attorneys. Absolutely, we're sure that the prenup would include the detail that whatever state they got married in was the state they had to get divorced.
Jeff's $500 million super yacht Kourou looms like a floating castle. 90 private jets clog the skies, and 5 of Venice's most luxurious hotels are booked solid. The guest list is a power parade. Queen Rania of Jordan, Jared Kushner, Usher performing under golden lights. Vogue's cameras snap every moment, and the world watches in awe. But not everyone's impressed. Protesters line Venice's streets, waving signs reading "Venice is not for sale." Inflatable crocodiles float in the canals, and laser projections blast messages of dissent on historic buildings. Locals are furious, blocked from public spaces by security barriers and armed guards. Online, the wedding's labeled tacky, a billionaire spectacle with no soul. The gray carpet, mocked as an Amazon warehouse floor, becomes a viral joke. $50 million for this? One ex-post tweets, zooming in on the lifeless decor. The glitz is blinding, but something's off. This isn't a celebration, it's a stage, and the real drama's happening backstage.
First of all, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez got married, and I was like, what? Two rich people got married? I bet those were some beautiful protests, and they were. I'm sorry, but can you imagine people disliking you so much they protest your wedding? People protested your wedding and you're not even gay. That's how you know you're bad.
The fairy tale Facade. Lauren Sanchez walks down the aisle in a $20,000 Dolce & Gabbana gown, heavy with satin and embroidery, more suited for a winter ball than a Venetian summer. Jeff, in a designer tuxedo, kisses her on a balcony as cameras flash. To the world, it's a billionaire love story. But the podcast we're diving into paints a different picture. This wasn't a wedding, one commentator says. It was a contract. The guest photos show stiff smiles, awkward poses, and a lack of warmth. The event feels rehearsed, like a corporate launch, not a marriage. Lauren's Instagram tells the story. Before the wedding, it's packed with family moments, TV clips, and subtle flexes of her jet-setting life. After, it's wiped clean, replaced with a handful of polished, professional shots from the ceremony. No candid moments, no personal touches, just a curated rebrand as Lauren Sanchez Bezos. Friends unfollow, comments are filtered, and her usual vibrancy is gone. She didn't just marry Jeff, she married a machine. The wedding wasn't about love, it was about control, a public fairy tale masking a private power play.
The rise of Lauren Sanchez. Let's rewind. Lauren Sanchez wasn't always a billionaire's wife. A former TV anchor, she built a career on charisma and hustle, delivering news with a megawatt smile. But she's more than a pretty face. A certified helicopter pilot, Lauren flew into Jeff's world as an advisor for Blue Origin, coordinating aerial shots and logistics for his rocket launches. She wasn't just a partner, she was a key player, helping transform Jeff from a nerdy CEO into a glamorous media-ready icon. By 2018, as Jeff's marriage to Mackenzie Scott crumbled in a $39 billion divorce, Lauren was already by his side, not just as a lover, but as a strategist. Her Hollywood roots run deep. Insiders call her a social chess master, with connections to producers, actors, and power players. She didn't just stumble into Jeff's orbit, she maneuvered her way in, leveraging her media savvy and aviation skills. The podcast paints her as ambitious, always trading up for power, fame, and influence. But there's a darker edge. She knew exactly what she was doing, the host says. Lauren's rise wasn't luck. It was a calculated climb. And the Venice wedding was supposed to be her coronation. So why did it all fall apart?
The $5 billion lawsuit Bombshell. Just days after the wedding, the world notices something strange. Lauren's gone quiet. No public appearances, no cheeky Instagram stories, no brand endorsements. Her name vanishes from events she once headlined, her face erased from projects she championed. Then, the headlines hit like a thunderbolt. Jeff Bezos is suing Lauren Sanchez for $5 billion. This isn't pocket change, it's a full-scale legal assault, and it's public. Court filings allege Lauren broke a postnuptial agreement with claims of leaked private information, unauthorized media contacts, and trust violations. The details are murky, but one thing is clear. Jeff's not playing nice. The podcast dives into the brutality of it all. This wasn't a breakup, the host says. It was a takedown. Legal analysts call the lawsuit aggressive, even vindictive. Lauren tried to reach out, pleading for a private resolution, but Jeff shut her down. He wanted the world to see this, the host notes. The Postnup, signed before the wedding, was airtight. No Amazon shares, no voting rights, no executive power, and clauses that gagged her from speaking publicly. This wasn't about money. It was about control. A reminder that Jeff Bezos, the man who built Amazon, never loses. The Postnup trap. Let's talk about that Postnup. Months before the wedding, Jeff's legal team was working overtime crafting a document that put Lauren in check. It wasn't just a marriage contract, it was a corporate blueprint. Clauses tied her to strict confidentiality, limited her influence over Amazon and Blue Origin, and even dictated where a divorce could be filed. Hint, a state favoring Jeff's interests. The wedding, with its $50 million spectacle, was the perfect distraction, a glittering fairy tale to mask the fine print. Lauren thought she was marrying into power, but the Postnup ensured she had none. She knew exactly what she was doing, the podcast host says, but maybe she didn't. Did she underestimate Jeff's ruthlessness? The agreement wasn't just a precaution, it was a trap designed to lock her down legally and socially. Break the rules? Face a $5 billion lawsuit. Speak to the press? Pay a penalty. The wedding's gray carpet wasn't the only thing that felt like an Amazon warehouse. Lauren's new life was a machine, and she was a cog, not a queen.
The erasure of Lauren Sanchez. The fallout was swift and surgical. Within weeks, Lauren's presence was scrubbed from the public eye. Brands she endorsed went silent. Her role in charity galas? Gone. Her spot on a media ventures board? Removed. Even Blue Origin, where she once led PR flights, erased her from its website and future plans. Friends stopped getting replies. Invitations were declined. Her travel, once glamorous and spontaneous, was now arranged by corporate staff. She can't even schedule her own lunch, a source whispers. The podcast paints a chilling picture. Lauren didn't just fall from grace, she was erased. Her Instagram, once a vibrant showcase of her life, became a sterile gallery of wedding photos, approved by Jeff's team. Her new name, Lauren Sanchez Bezos, wasn't a badge of honor. It was a brand, controlled in corporate. The lawsuit wasn't about recovering money. It was about dismantling her identity. Jeff's PR machine, backed by his wealth and influence, ensured she had no microphone left. The world watched her rise, and now it's watching her disappear.
A billionaire's calculated collapse. The podcast doesn't hold back. This was a blueprint, the host says. Jeff didn't just sue Lauren, he engineered her collapse. The wedding was a distraction, a $50 million stage to keep the world focused on glamour while his legal team prepared the takedown. The Postnup's clauses were a chessboard, and Jeff played every move. Leaked information? He had proof. Media contacts? Tracked. Trust violations? Documented. The lawsuit was public for a reason: to humiliate, to control, to send a message. In Jeff's orbit, no one defies the rules. But why go so hard? The host speculates this wasn't about love turning sour. It was about legacy. Jeff's empire, Amazon, Blue Origin, his public image, is his life's work. Lauren, with her Hollywood connections and media savvy, was a wild card. Did she leak sensitive info to boost her own brand? Did she push too hard for power within the empire? The podcast hints at a deeper betrayal, perhaps tied to her brother, Michael Sanchez, who infamously leaked Jeff's text in 2019. Whatever the trigger, Jeff didn't just end the marriage, he ended her.
The public's reaction. The internet didn't hold back. X and TikTok exploded with theories. Lauren got played, one viral post reads. She thought she was the queen, but Jeff's the king. Others are harsher, mocking her transformation.
She looks like a plastic version of herself, the podcast host says, echoing online comments about her rumored surgeries. Chasing fame and power morphed her into something unrelatable. The public split. Some see her as a hustler who climbed too high, others as a victim of Jeff's ruthless machine. Protesters in Venice set the tone, their billionaire invasion signs resonating online. People protested your wedding and you're not even gay, the host laughs. That's how you know you're hated. The gray carpet, the awkward guest list, the sterile decor, it all fueled the narrative of a hollow spectacle. But the lawsuit, that's what tipped the scales. Jeff didn't just divorce her, he deleted her. The world's watching, but Lauren's voice is gone, silenced by a billionaire who controls the narrative.
The hidden war. Behind the headlines, a quiet war was waged. The podcast hints at months of preparation. Jeff's team tracked Lauren's moves, her calls, her meetings, her media contacts. Sources whisper about a war room where lawyers and PR experts mapped out the lawsuit. The wedding's chaos, protesters, jets, that infamous gray carpet was a smokescreen, keeping the world distracted while Jeff tightened the screws. Lauren's alleged breaches, like sharing private info or pushing her own agenda, gave him the ammo he needed. But there's a twist. Did Lauren know the risks? The podcast suggests she's no naive player. A social chess master, she built her career on calculated moves. Maybe she saw the Postnup's traps, but signed anyway, betting she could outmaneuver Jeff. Maybe she leaked info to secure her own power, only to misjudge his ruthlessness. She thought she was marrying into an empire, the host says, but Jeff doesn't share thrones. The lawsuit wasn't just a reaction, it was a preemptive strike, a billionaire's way of cleaning house.
Where is Lauren Sanchez now? So where is Lauren Sanchez? Not at galas, not at space launches, not at the tables where billionaires shape the world. She's gone, not because she walked away, but because she was removed. One contract, one project, one memory at a time. Her name's no longer trending. Her face isn't booked. Her story's been scrubbed. The podcast paints a haunting picture. This wasn't a breakup, it was a shutdown. Jeff controls the narrative now, and Lauren's a ghost in his empire. But is it over? The host leaves us with a question. Did Lauren quit, or was she made to disappear? The $5 billion lawsuit is just the beginning. Whispers of appeals, countersuits, and tell-all leaks are already circulating. Lauren's not a novice. She's played this game before. If she fights back, it'll be a war, not a whimper. And Jeff? He's sent a message. In his world, no one defies the rules. But at what cost to his own legacy? The Bezos empire stands tall, but cracks are forming, and the world's watching.
What do you think? Was Lauren Sanchez a mastermind who got outplayed, or a victim of Jeff Bezos' ruthless machine? Is this about love gone wrong, or a billionaire protecting his empire? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your take. Smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell for more jaw-dropping stories about the elite. This saga's far from over, and you won't want to miss what's next. If this video blew your mind, show some love with a super thanks. It fuels our mission to uncover the truth behind the headlines. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.